Warren, terrific morning here at Flemington ahead of the big 4 days next week. What caught your eye here from a derby perspective? First of all, we had Niagara, Sabridge and Sangster all gallop.
Yeah, I thought they all worked really well. To me, I thought the work of Sangster and Sabridge was really good. They worked together and finished off really strongly. Niagara, the Gay Waterhouse trained horse, worked with the stablemate Older Than Time, and he worked nicely too. He's pushed out the last little bit and worked really strongly. Of that, and taking a line through their last run, I thought Sangster was probably, found himself in the front a little bit too early in that race and ridden a bit more patiently. And the way he worked this morning, if anything's going to trouble Manawanui, he might be one of the ones that can. If Manawanui settles well enough and runs the trip out, he's probably just got too much class for them. But of the Derby horses on the course proper this morning, probably Sangster slightly ahead for me, ahead of Sabridge and Niagara. Other horses that worked on the course proper this morning, we had Sepoy, of course, worked with stablemate and worked down the straight, just taking off from about the 800 metre mark, and the last bit of his work was terrific. He's going to start a short price favourite in the Coolmore on Saturday, and it's hard to see him getting beaten, but he seems to have come on well, or at least held his condition since his win against the older horses at Caulfield. So no knock on Sepoy at all. It'll be great to see him on Saturday. And a little jump out just then with a horse I'm sure you know quite well, Edward, Sister Madley, just showing her natural sort of good pace down the straight and running good time and finishing off strongly. She goes to the Group 2 Salinger. I know the challenge is to try and win a Group 1 with her, but if you run one in a Group 1 sprint over the Spring Carnival, you've got to take on Black Caviar, and that's probably not good advice if you want to win. So I think Sister Madley looks really well placed going down the straight in the Salinger, and she was terrific going down the straight this morning with Fox Wedge, Shopaholic and Adamantium just behind her.
Didn't mind the run of Fox Wedge in that either.
No, look, he's going to go to the Coolmore, and he poked up nicely the last little bit, just got a little bit back off the pace but worked home nicely. And look, he's a known entity. He's a really good horse. He's had a look at the straight now, and he's been competitive with Sepoy, so if there's a horse that is going to test him, Fox Wedge certainly went down the straight well this morning, and should cope with that well under race conditions on Saturday.
What did you think of More Joyous from my perspective?
Look, she worked really strongly. The last bit of her work was strong. That's going to be a great race. Our mares set weights and penalties and this weight for age race on Saturday is a very strong component of our racing at the moment. It's going to be a very hot race, but with Sister Madley not taking on More Joyous and heading to the Salinger, then that she was a serious threat to More Joyous last time they met at Caulfield. So taking her out of the race probably makes Sister Madley's task a little bit easier, but I think a bit of it might depend if we get any horses backing up out of the Cox Plate. Look, you just don't know. We'll get final acceptances tomorrow and we'll see what happens, but she'd obviously be the horse to beat, or one of the horses to beat.
Did you see anything else work well this morning, Warren?
In the middle this morning, got out there and watched Injuna. We talked about Derby horses before on the course proper. He's a real genuine stayer, Injuna, the Darley horse that won the Geelong Classic just over a week ago. He had his first sort of real serious hit out since that run today. Works strongly over 2,000 metres with Karen McAvoy on him, and I think he'd certainly be, to my eye, sort of equal second with Sangster trying to challenge Manawanui if Manawanui doesn't run the trip. That's probably how the market plays out too. So there's no surprises there, but he seems to have come through that run really well, worked really well. Another Darley horse was Galar. He worked with Launay a couple of weeks ago before he went to Caulfield and won very well first up. He again worked with Launay this morning and the work was terrific. So the Carbine Club's a race where it's a 3-year-old race over 1,600 metres on Saturday, and if Galar was good enough to beat a similar bunch of horses over 1,400 at Caulfield, I think he's better suited over 1,600, better suited on a big track here, and I'd be surprised if Galar doesn't win the Carbine Club on Saturday. He worked really well, as did Atlantic Jewel, Mark Kavanagh's filly, who's going to go round odds on in the Wakeful, and no reason to think she won't stretch out to the longer trip, although she's never raced beyond a mile before. Relaxed style, worked beautifully over 1,800 metres this morning and just quickened up the last little bit, and again, horses like Galar, Sepoy and Atlantic Jewel, look like they're going to be short price favourites, but could be good anchors for multis going into Saturday.